Alright, what's up guys? This is a slightly different video than what I'm normally doing because normally I'm out working on the car. But I posted a question on Instagram, and if you don't already follow my Instagram, I'll throw it down here below. Posted a question on my story the other night asking people what they want to see of the 3000 in these videos, just because I'm currently working on rewrapping the car, and I figured I would make some more informative videos during this period because I'm not going to reveal the car's color until the end of the month of the Philadelphia Auto Show. So it starts on February 2nd. So on the 31st, we're going to be bringing the car down. And then on February 2nd, we're going to be kind of like revealing the car in its new color and all that down at the auto show. So between now and then, I will be doing some work with the car, but expect those videos to be in black and white because I don't want you guys seeing the color, and I want to kind of try and build some anticipation to reveal the color because I'm really happy with how it's coming out so far, and I'm going to try and get some more done on it this weekend. Josh.Montgomery on Instagram left a reply to my question, and it was, what is the cost to make a 3000 GT drift? He actually wants another 3000 GT that he can turn into a drift car. And the reason I make these videos is to share the information and the struggles that I go through. So when somebody else decides to try and go down this path and build a 3000 GT drift car, they can maybe avoid some of the issues that I ran into and set their car up similar to mine, which after the Florida trip, I'm pretty confident that the car is set up very well for what it is, and is a good drift car. Finally came a long way. It took about a year to get it figured out, but the car, in my opinion, is now finally a good drift car. Are some changes I'm going to make before the season, but I'll share that with you guys later. The cost to make a 3000 GT drift, theoretically, it's free. If you can weld and you can take a transmission apart, you can make your 3000 GT rear-wheel drive. I didn't do mine. My buddy Justin, he did mine, and he basically took the trans apart, take the center differential out, and he welded the spider gears to the little ring that they're on so that power is then locked. Now the way we did it is so that I can ultimately turn my car back to all-wheel drive, because I wasn't sure if this was the path that I wanted to go, by just putting new spider gears in. We didn't technically ruin the center diff. If you welded the center diff fully, it would have been a permanent change. 100% of the power would have been going to the rear wheels. My car, there is a little bit of a power loss because of the way we have it set up, but it can be reversed, and the car has plenty of power with the mods that I've done to it, and it rips. So there's no really that power loss is negligible when it comes down to it. Then he also welded the center diff for me. I have a welded center diff in the car. I have a spare LSD, like stock VLSD, and I think I also have another stock welded carrier for the diff. Either way, these cars have a VLSD stock, so basically all the little holes around the VLSD unit, he just welded it all, locked it all together, done deal. So now that you're rear-wheel drive, you can theoretically drift the car, but it might not work the best. Because here's what I did. My first drift event, have no drifting skill at all. I went into it with welded center diff to make the car rear-wheel drive, welded rear diff, and a handbrake, that hydro handbrake, that did not even work. It was terrible. The bracket that I had bent, and it was no good. So in order to make it into a better drift car, that is where more welding and some more money comes into play. So the first thing I did was a transfer case brace. I got the Ninja Performance transfer case brace, and it's probably one of the best transfer case braces you can get for these cars. 3SX also sells an almost identical one. I would also highly recommend that piece, but you want to try and find the biggest and beefiest transfer case brace on the market to hold that thing together and protect it from separating and blowing apart. Next is going to be steering. So I went through a lot of different steering setups with the car, and I finally have a steering setup that works. So my initial steering setup was stock angle. These cars have CV joints in the front, so when you remove those when you're rear-wheel drive, you will still have the steering angle of a car with a CV joint in the front, which isn't much. So what I did is I got shorter tie rods from an FD RX-7, a 93 RX-7, and tie rod spacers for an S13. And they basically go in between the inner tie rod and the rack. Gave me a little bit more angle. My issue was that they're thinner than the stock tie rods, so I ended up bending the tie rod and ultimately snapping one at the track and full-blown tacoing the other one at the same time. It was not good. So there's that. So then I ended up deciding I'm just gonna cut my knuckles and try it out and see what happens. So we cut 3/4 of an inch off of the knuckles, and it got us a good amount of steering angle. But then we went back to a stock 3000 GT tie rod. So right now the setup on the car is a stock knuckle shortened 3/4 of an inch, so you bring that pickup point in to get more angle, and then a stock 3000 GT inner and outer tie rod with the villain spacers on each side still. Then moving forward, coilover suspension. That should be a given. Don't drift on stock suspension or lowering springs with stock dampers. Go to coilovers. I run a Megan Racing coilover with a 6-inch 14K spring in the front, and then the 7 1/8 inch tall 12K spring in the rear that comes with the coilovers. So definitely do that. And also have a handbrake in the car. So my car is a conversion car. For those of you that don't know, my car started as front wheel drive. So when I did the subframe swap, I got rid of all the handbrake stuff, the factory handbrake stuff. If yours works, use it. Tighten that thing up and use it. I know there's plenty of like 240 guys that use stock handbrakes, but if not, I have an inline hydraulic handbrake. Get a Welded master cylinder for it. Don't waste your time with eBay master cylinders. Get a Welded. Put it in line. I basically have the two lines that come to the back of the car. They tee together. They go into my handbrake, they come out of my handbrake, and then they split back off and they go to each rear caliper. Also delete the ABS. There's no reason to have ABS in the car if you're gonna be doing any of this stuff, so delete all the ABS. My opinion, delete everything. If you're gonna drift a 3000 GT, delete everything. Cruise control, ABS, active suspension if you do when you do coilovers, and all that stuff, because there's no need to have any of that stuff trying to hold you back from driving on the track. Or disable it. I don't care what you do. I say if you're gonna do a hydraulic handbrake, get rid of the ABS. The ABS systems in the 3000s suck. An ABS delete kit is easy and cheap, so go that route. Now, if you guys want to look back in all my older videos, I have videos of me putting the handbrake together, doing my coilovers, changing the springs, installing the cut knuckles, all that stuff. There is the videos out there, but this is kind of just an overall recap on how to get to that point. So, I mean, the only thing that is really necessary to make it a legitimate drift car is cut knuckles. Just get a little more angle because it's really hard to slide without it. And that was $125. And then the only other thing is doing the actual rear-wheel drive conversion. I think when Justin kind of figured it out, it ended up being around $350 in labor that he would have charged me. So that's why I gave him the wheels and you know, we got it all figured out in that way. So it's not too hard of a project. Anyone can do it, and I encourage you guys to do it. And it just seems like a daunting task, but one day I just woke up and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna try it out. And I mean, now that I figured out so much stuff, if the next guy wants to try it, I can't see it being too difficult for them to do, because I kind of know what to do. And use my channel as a resource, guys. If you want to try this out, go back, watch some of the older videos, and yeah, that's about it. So subscribe to the channel. We're gonna have some more stuff coming, more race car stuff coming. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a very quick rundown of how to make your 3000 GT rear-wheel drive and the costs involved, and it's really not too bad, guys. Try it out, give it a shot, and like I said, use my channel as a resource. Subscribe to it, because there will always be more improving on that car and that chassis coming. And like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys next time.